Alright guys, welcome to another Piano Lessons Gone Nuts video, and I'm going to tell you in this video how to make sure that your piano tuner is doing a good job, okay? So here's the thing, piano tuners are like mechanics and doctors. We don't really know what they're doing. We just pay them and hope that they do a good job, right? And the thing is, you can even have a really good piano tuner, but he's going to do a better job if he knows that it will matter if he does a good job, okay? If he knows that you're going to pay attention and you're going to realize if he did a really good job tuning the piano, he's going to do a better job. Now here's the first tip-off if your piano tuner is not doing a good job. If they're done in 20 minutes, they're not doing a good job, okay? 20 minutes is not long enough. They should be tuning it, I would say, an hour. Some maybe just under an hour, but at least an hour of work on tuning. Now, what you can do is you can ask some questions and just kind of comment on some piano tuner things that will make them understand that you are paying attention to what they're doing, okay? So, and as far as cost goes, you know, now it could be up to $200 for a good piano tuning, okay? It used to be $100 when I was a kid, and now it's $200 and upwards sometimes, depending on where you live. The first thing is you want to ask, you want to see if your piano is up to A440. What that means is an A above middle C, standard pitch, will vibrate 440 times in a second, the little wave, you know, and that's what makes it an A. If it vibrated faster, it would be higher in pitch. If it was a lower number, it would be, you know, lower in pitch. But an A440 is standard pitch. You want to ask them to tell you if the piano is up to A440. Some pianos are not. They're flat. Some older pianos are way flat, and you can't really bring them up because they're so old and it's not really worth the stress that it'll put on the soundboard. Not the soundboard, the pin block. Anyway, so ask them about A440, and if they say it's low, ask them if they could bring it up to A440 if you want to play in standard pitch, which you do. You know, you want to play in standard pitch. They might tell you if they got to bring it up, that it's going to take, you know, if it's way off from A440, it's going to take a couple of tunings. That's normal because they're having to increase so much tension on the piano, it's going to adjust. You know, it's just metal and wood is all it is, so it's going to adjust and change, and they'll have to come back and retune it again to finally get it up to A440. So if it's way off, it'll take a couple of tunings to get it up to A440. That's the first thing you can ask, okay? Now don't drill them and quiz them and try to make them feel stupid. Don't do that, okay? Just ask and comment in a conversation about it, and that'll do the trick. All right, the next thing is you want to have them play tenths for you, because what they'll usually do is they'll tune the middle two octaves, and then they'll just tune the octaves after that. But they'll tune from here to here usually, and then they have it set, and then they'll tune the rest of the piano based on what they have in the middle here. So after they finish, ask them if you can hear the tenths after they finish that middle octave, so you can tell. Because if a piano is out of tune and it's a bad tuning, the most telling interval, I think, is the tenth when they do this. If you can't play that, have the guy play it for you. If he can't do that, there's something wrong. Okay, he needs to be able to play tenths if he's a piano tuner. Okay, thirds don't really bite as much, but if you have a bad tenth, it's going to really go whoa and sound awful, and you'll be able to hear it, okay? But if he knows that you're going to want to hear the tenths after he does the middle two octaves, then he'll do a good job on it. Now, or she, you know, I've never met a female piano tuner, but I'm sure they're out there. The next thing you can ask about is stretching the octaves. I had a piano tuner one time, sweet guy, but he would stretch the octaves so far at the top that they would just really be out of tune. What that means is the higher you get, the sharper that we tune it for our ears. So it's actually a little bit out of tune. They'll actually out of tune it a little bit higher so that it sounds good to our ears. The higher you go, the more they have to do that. That's where the good expert tuning comes in, because it's not an exact thing. You have to listen and stretch the octave. So once you get up here, you have to stretch that C a little bit, stretch C sharp, and all the way up. So ask about that if he's going to stretch the octaves at the top. About that. And then because sometimes they'll do the middle of the piano and they won't even really do a good job on the rest. They say, well, they're just going to play right here, and I'm just not going to really spend much time doing the rest of it, and then they'll go real fast on the outsides and not do a good job. So make sure as he's going up, he's stretching the octaves and doing it right all the way. Okay, the last thing you can ask about is regulating. Now, what that means is I used to do this on my old piano at home when I was a kid. When you want all the keys, I'm on an electronic piano here, so it doesn't matter. I'm talking about a real piano, right? You want all the keys to be the same resistance to push down. Okay? If you ever hit a key and it bubbles, it goes ba-bum, ba-bum, then that key needs regulating. You'll need to adjust that to where it just goes down. Now the opposite of that, if you do it too much the other way, it'll go dong, and the hammer will stay against the string. Dong. That's too much. And the little bubble ba-bum is too much the other way, so it's too loose. So he'll need to regulate the action to make sure all of the keys are the same. Now you don't have to have that done, but just you mentioning it, say how much does it cost to regulate the piano so that all the keys are. Do you recommend regulating this one? Or if you have a note that bubbles or something, mention that. Just so you sound knowledgeable. Okay, so really that's what it is. It's just making sure the guy knows that you're going to notice if it's not tuned and that you care if it's tuned correctly. Okay, but don't cross the line. Don't try to intimidate. Don't drill the person, and just kind of mention a little bit, okay? Because you can go too far with that. So I hope you guys will get something out of that when you hire your next tuner. I'll talk to you later.